you're only really a failure if you give up. Within 12 months of starting that business, we made over £1 million in turnover. The key is to make sure that you reframe your attitude towards what people perceive as failure. So whenever we talk about this thing called failure, I think it's really important to understand that you've got to frame it correctly. Because you're only really a failure if you give up. Are you with me? I remember there was one particular season in our lives where we started a business, and it was in a sector that I wasn't really familiar with. It was in construction. And we got a contract to provide services across a massive local authority in the United Kingdom. Great opportunity, but we weren't really equipped to do it. And at a time when we could ill afford to lose the money, I remember that time losing thousands and thousands of pounds and feeling quite immobilized and quite angry with myself, because that money wasn't available for us, and it created massive problems in the family home. But one of the things that we were able to do is we made sure that we didn't allow that to be a point where we gave up and decided that we were not going to do a business anymore, because that's typically what happens when you have a failure, isn't it? You sort of think to yourself, man, I've cocked up royally, I can't do this anymore. But what actually happened is we used that as a learning point. And we actually said to ourselves, okay, so maybe this is not the business that we need to be going into, but we do recognize that to make the levels, or to get to the levels that we want to get to, we might have to change tact and just go into a business that we maybe understand a little bit better. And that's exactly what we did. And so, we didn't lose enthusiasm, we didn't lose energy after, the initial disappointment of the failures and having to pick up the pieces. We moved into another business, and I can tell you definitively that within 12 months of starting that business, we made over £1 million in turnover. So what that taught me as an important lesson was the fact that just because you've had a failure in one area doesn't mean that automatically defines every area of your life. It's a failure here, but you can use it as a springboard, if you like, into your next venture. And actually, that's something that you'll notice with a lot of entrepreneurs. You'll be hard pressed to find any entrepreneurs who haven't failed. Sometimes people go into business and they get it right the first time around, but typically what happens is you start a business, doesn't work, okay, or you start it works for a period, it fails, and then you go on to the next one and the next one, and then you eventually strike on the thing that really works for you. So, but I guess the key is to make sure that you reframe your attitude towards what people perceive as failure, because what people do with failure, or what they see as failure, it immobilizes them. So they never try anything else after that. So yes, I think the mental game is very, very important here. Make sure that it doesn't weigh on your mind, doesn't weigh on your heart, but you use it, as I said before, as a springboard to your next level. I hope you enjoyed that message, and I want to ask you to do something for us. Please like, subscribe, and share. Why? Because your act of doing so will get this message in the hands of somebody who desperately needs it, and get it all over the world. We all know people who are struggling, who are feeling hopeless, helpless, and helpless. But by putting this message in their hands, you can be part of the solution. The Bible tells us in the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 9, that though a tree be cut down, yet at the scent of water it will bud again. And who knows, but this message could be the scent that they need to give them the motivation to go again. So thank you so much for your partnership. God bless you.